historical recreations, we have a very special tutorial for you. It is also a challenge. Dollar store skeleton transformation plus miniature coffin building for our little friend here. Today is a very special two-part tutorial, and I hope you really enjoy this. Join me. The first part of our tutorial today is to get your plastic skeleton out, some paper, a marking pen, and some tape. And let's figure out the size of our little friend. Put down, we just lay our little skeleton friend with his legs backwards to the right size. The next part is with your marker, we start creating a coffin the size of our skeleton. And all you need to do is rough out how large the skeleton is. And once you get that marked out, the next thing you should do is get a ruler and be more precise about where the lines are and how they're going to be. Just remember now, you have to create two of these panels, one for the lid and one for the base, and also have enough foam core for all of the sides. So today we're going to be taking our dollar store skeleton and we're going to be spraying it down. I'm using today a white 316 and we're going to get rid of all of this tackiness. We really want to create a skeleton worthy of that coffin. Are you ready? Let's go. Today I'm working in a very well ventilated spot outside. I've got my white. Let's spray this guy down. Today our Mr. Skeleton friend looks so peaceful laying out on the prop shop table. What we are going to be doing today is we're going to be mixing up an acrylic 999 with half tone of white, and we're going to age him. And with the second coating and painting in the most essential areas with the acrylic 999, our skeleton has been brought to life. Let's build his coffin. Now we have our little friend laid out here. So let's measure to see how big our little friend is. I say he's about exactly 22 inches. Now the size of his head and the depth of the coffin is very important. We should have him at least in there, I would say 4 inches, because his head clears 3. So we're going to be cutting 2 of these out and creating the size of the sides by 4 inches by the size of the coffin. Let's do it. Once you get all your pieces cut out, they should look like this. Very well. Okay. Now, also very important to remember, do not overly measure this project. You want a little bit of not preciseness, so it looks like it was handmade. And the other thing right now is let's get our glue gun out and let's assemble it. And an excellent prop building tip: use some masking tape to pre-build your coffin. It makes it easy for hot gluing. Totally nice. Very, very good. Easy to assemble. Okay, let's go on. And comes the next process. We are using this. This is black masking tape. Now, if you don't have black masking tape, you can use regular masking tape and just paint it to the color of the styrofoam that you had used.
Coincidentally, that I had a black styrofoam and I also had a black masking tape. And what we're doing now is we're sealing up the edges of all of our seams to make it one smooth piece. So I have one more piece to go over here before we move on. So let's finish this up and go to the aging process.
And for the transformation change, today I'll be using a burnt umber 925. This will be a completely different color than my usual burnt umber 624 that I have, because it's more along the earthy, nutty, crunchy color that I really want for our casket. All right, let's start painting. Adding texture to our paint. We did this to the lid too. Just daubing it in stenciling formation. Our next essential element that we'll be using on our coffin is this foam tubing, and you can get this at any craft store or dollar store that sells art materials. What we're going to be doing today is we're going to be cutting this in half and creating molding. Now, if you've looked at Victorian style coffins and caskets, usually they have a decorative molding around it. This will be very interesting to do. So what we're going to do today now is get our scissors out and cut these in half. It's going to look like this, and that's what we're going to put on the casket. We're going to hot glue this down and then we're going to paint over it. It's a really cool day at the prop shop because today we are going to be working on this. I got all of my molding sliced in half. What we're going to do is we're going to start applying that molding around the edges of our casket. We're going to be doing the lid and the main part. So let's do that today. Are you ready? Important element that I need to share with you if you're doing this: cutting the molding on a 45-degree angle. You can put another piece right here at a 45-degree angle and you can create the right proper shape for your molding. Once you get all your molding set up, it should look something like this. These details add a lot to a project. Now let's paint this up with our acrylic 925 burnt umber. So I've got my bottom piece of my coffin standing up here on the floor, and what I wanted to show you was I bought these, and these are nothing more than stick-on pearls, and they're from a dollar shop, and you can actually put them on here. If you look at European designs of coffins, they actually had X's made with rivets that they had put in here. They also did decorative rivets on the side of the coffins. So we're going to be using these today to start putting them on there. Using these beads are very easy. However, you'll come to know that they're in a string. So if you just want to use one, you're going to have to cut off just the one that you want to use. Boom. And that will stick on anything. So let's put our X on there now. And what I want to do is I'm using a black permanent magic marker today, and I'm marking out the center of my area and putting some indication lines where we're going to do them, because we're going to be doing the beads this way and this way. Putting my first bead here in the center as the guide. Boom. Okay, let me finish the rest. To show you how easy that was, just letting the strings fall down where they go because they're naturally on a string. I did the base, I did this side, and I did this side. And we have some decorations. Okay, now let's do the sides. Now another very important note is once you put on your coatings and decorations and stuff, rip a little bit of it off there so it looks like it's been aged and falling off. It's been in a tomb, so rip some of the pieces off there. And now we're going to be using our burnt umber number 925, and we're going to be painting this down. Let's decorate that lid. Cut out 2 more pieces that roughly look like the coffin top, and let's hot glue them down. Layer the 2 on there and hot glued all the way around there. Very important to know, don't go extra calculus on this one. Just rough out 2 pieces and put them on there. If you make stuff that looks like it came from a store, it's not going to look like it's handmade. So doing that, beautiful. Let's put some decorations on there.
Okay, now once you get all of your pieces put together, and you really want to add this up. So I got these extra little raised half buttons here, and I'm going to go to town and I'm going to put them on our coffin lid over here. Don't be afraid to decorate this as much as you like. I just like the raised buttons because that's what it looked like in the European styles. But you might want to add like a, I don't know, crucifix or something over here. It's really gothic. But once you get this done and painted to the coffin brown, we're going to do an awesome faux finish on the coffin, and we're going to make it really, really, really gothic. Transformation with the half rivets on there, looking good. I have just painted them up. Now I'm going to let this dry. Once this is completely dry, we're going to start on the faux finish. Now we got our coffin put together, and the thing that we're going to be working on now, after this is dried for 24 hours, we're going to go into a very special palette today. We're using an olive green number 955. We're using a blue gray number 962. We're using a black number 999. And we're using a titanium white number 601. So this is what we're going to be using today, and I want to show you these two different types of brushes over here. Go out and find the nastiest brush you can find. You can see that the one on the right here has been used way more than the left one here. However, you can also use this very soft Chinese brush for this. But we're going to be mixing up a slurry today of these three colors, and mostly in the black family, and just a little dot of white. Graveyard colors. This is really going to bring out the finish of the burnt umber. Once you got it to the right mixture, let's start applying it now to our coffin. Take a paper towel or some tissue paper, even toilet paper. Now start taking some of this information off. So I'm going to paint this down completely, and then once it's finished, I'm going to show you what it looks like. Okay, so we're back on the main prop shop here. I have saved some pieces of cardboard, and what I want to do is I want to create an inner coffin for around the inside of our piece. Now what this is going to do is that we are going to layer up our coffin with fabric. Now here at the prop shop, we always like to go the distance because that's what prop making is all about. Once we create the mini coffin that will go inside this, we're going to wrap that with some fabric. I had to go out to the big table again. Anyways, this inner frame took me about 15 minutes to make. As you can see, it comes right out. Really great. Now we can get some fabric, and we're going to lay something down here, and we're going to wrap it around there. And I got some of this beautiful fabric from one of our fabric shops, and I thought, oh, that's a nice blood red, and that's going to look really, really great inside of our little coffin over here. But what I need to do is I need to cut some strips and then wrap around very carefully, and then also put down a base coating here inside of the floor. We're also going to take this one step further. We're going to stain this. Once we get our perimeter measured out and how much fabric we need, we're going to... Okay, I want to talk about an easy element to do. Check this out. I used the top of the lid to create a template to put the piece down here, and just wrapped very carefully over the cardboard. It took me about 5 minutes to do this, and look at the color. Ah, it goes so well with this. Ah. All right, let's go on to the next stage. And today, what I'm using today is an Alpha Acrylic number 999 Black, a large
Chinese style calligraphy brush from one of my collections, and a little bowl of water. And what I'm going to do today is I'm going to wash down this to create a stain. And we don't want to go overboard because we just want to just dirty it up a little bit. Now you have to remember we have cardboard underneath here, so that's going to be a factor. And we just want this to dry. We're going to use a hair dryer afterwards. We're just going to dirty up the fabric a bit. We don't want to lose the beautiful red in there. We just want to create dirt, and that just settles really nice on it. Wow, it's soaking right in. And we can just use a hair dryer afterwards to dry this up. Now, with our friend very comfortably inside his final resting place, we bid him farewell. Gothfully yours, Professor